Alright, this is the third of 3 lectures for Math 1508 Pre-Calculus, Chapter 1, Functions and Their Graphs, Section 1.2, Graphs of Equations. Part 1 talked about graphing, including intercepts. Part 2 talked about symmetry, both graphically and algebraically. And now here in Part 3, we're going to talk about circles. This matches Larson's Pre-Calculus 10th edition, if anybody wants to follow along. A circle is defined by the set of all points x, y that are equidistant from a fixed center point hk. This particular distance is called the radius r. Due to the term equidistant, look, you see how distant is right in there, it should be of no surprise that the formula for a circle uses the distance formula. And what did the distance formula use? It used the Pythagorean theorem. So the distance between the generic x value on the edge of the circle and the center, all squared, that's our a squared, plus the distance from a generic y coordinate on the outside of the circle to the center point, so y minus k, all squared, that's our b squared, equals the distance squared. And what's the distance from the center to any point? It's the radius r, so r squared. So here we have a squared plus b squared equals r squared. Standard little Pythagorean theorem, only in terms of the distance between the center point and any generic point xy on the circle itself. Alright, just a couple of examples here. We'll do more in class, but it's a good start. Write the standard form of the equation of the circle with the given characteristics. So we have a center 0, 0 and a radius 4. Our standard form was x minus h all squared plus y minus k all squared equals radius squared. So in gray, I have the parentheses around x minus something and the square, the plus sign. People a lot of times forget the plus sign because you're so focused on other things. Don't forget to add. So what is my h value? My h value is the x coordinate of the center. The center is 0, 0, so my x coordinate is 0, and my y coordinate is also 0. So x minus 0 all squared plus y minus 0 all squared equals radius of 4 squared. We'll simplify this because this tells us a lot of information, but we would much rather look at a circle x squared plus y squared equals 16. Notice with the symmetry I mentioned earlier, this will have y-axis symmetry and x-axis symmetry. So this is not a function, but it is a circle centered at the origin. Radius is 4. Again, write the standard form of the equation of the circle with the given characteristics. X minus h, our h value is 2, all squared in parentheses, plus y minus k, my k value is negative 1, all squared, equals radius squared, 7 squared. X minus 2, we'll leave it. We're never going to multiply these out, or very rarely will we multiply these out. We'll just leave it as x minus 2 all squared plus, but we'll simplify. Two negatives come together to make a positive, so y minus a negative 1, we'll write it in the simplified form of y plus 1 all squared equals 49. So we'll simplify where we can, but we're not going to expand. We're not going to multiply the x minus 2 squared as x minus 2 times x minus 2. Notice how the y plus 1 gives us a value of negative 1 for our center. X minus 2 gives us a positive 2 as the x coordinate of our center. The standard form is always x minus and y minus. So if you see an addition, you know you're subtracting a negative and you'll have a negative result for one of the coordinates. We're going to use that right here. So if I want to find the center and radius of x squared plus y squared equals 25, I'm going to rewrite it in my form. And there's nothing subtracted from the x, and I could write that as x minus 0 all squared plus y minus 0 all squared. And I ask myself, 25, what do I have to square to get 25? Well, I have to square 5. So my center is 0, 0, the point. My radius is 5, the square root of 25, our radius in this case. Find the center and radius. Okay, so first, we ask ourselves, what do we subtract here? our h value is 1. See if I can make an equal sign here. What am I subtracting from y? I'm subtracting a negative, right? It's the only way I can get addition. And so my center is the point 1, comma, negative 3. Yes, I need to work on my pen skills, but I'm getting there. Similarly, we ask ourselves, what's the radius? If r squared equals 1, then r equals a positive 1. So I have my center and my radius as I wanted.